Where are we? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chat from the Deep, our weekly live stream post-session discussion. We talk about what just happened during D&D. There's a chat for session 60, so if you've not watched that session yet, please go do that, because there will be some spoilers. I'm your DM, Eric, and joining me we have Gotwalls player Chris.
Hello.
And Max player Raymond.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, this was the...
As a matter of fact, like, I like kind of had to catch up. Like, oh, yeah, that was me. He just said my name.
A lot of fighting in this one, which I knew there was going to be from my point of view. I don't know if you guys expected to like have that fight and be able to explore around a little bit, but this was this was not a reactive dungeon, this is an active dungeon. And I even thought about like, oh man, should I like pounce on them or ambush them? Like this is these are enemies that like know you're around.
Sure.
And at one point I was like, all right, I'm going to let you guys roll stealth checks, even though you didn't really say you were going to do that. Just kind of bumbling around. After you saw an enemy just kind of flee. That was a little cavalier. But the goal here was to...
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to say, the goal here was to have that kind of hit-and-run villain, basically. Instead of having just a straight-up big fight, it was like, hey, this is her lair, but she is moving around, she's gathering reinforcements, and she's got this... And you're right, and you called it out, she does have the spells that allow her to disengage from a fight kind of at will, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say to your previous point, I almost feel like the two concepts are kind of like antithetical to each other. Because if they know we're here, and it feels like they know where we're at any given time, stealth does kind of feel like a moot point.
Yeah,
it's like, well, yeah, we're walking like they know, like it's almost like the security cameras are on us. Like, yeah, they know we're here.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? Yeah, so I was contemplating on whether or not to ambush you guys or how to work that in, and then it was just funny that Heather was like, I'm gonna open this door. I was like, all right, because that's kind of where a pot of enemies is.
That's where, and was it like you just kind of described where like if we hadn't opened the door, would she have come out and tried to like surprise us from behind or something? Or
right, I mean, you mentioned security camera. She doesn't like literally know necessarily where you guys are exactly, but they're, you know, I figure like, okay, I was trying to be fair. Like, all right, they're using perception checks against the party, so we'll kind of let them use stealth checks, just kind of see like how well everybody can see each other, and eventually somebody would just open a door, and that's what I was trying to like suss out, like when the best time to do that was. But
sure,
I figured right when you guys were in the middle of the hallway was a fun time to spring that fight.
Yeah,
the second room was not nearly as powerful as the first, for balancing reasons. And you guys are, it's, part of the D&D balance is stringing you guys up until you've got, like, nothing left in the gas tank. And it gets pretty tense.
It's interesting in hindsight. I feel like in hindsight, maybe the first fight, not the second one, the first fight, wasn't as dire as we thought it was, but it became dire only because of the situation that we were left in at the end of the last session.
Right.
Where Reese was by himself against all of them, and then he got paralyzed.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this would have been like a pretty, not, I'd say standard, but like it would have been a pretty straight ahead fight.
Yeah.
If we hadn't been in the situation where Toro got like fucking paralyzed and kidnapped, and then Mac had to go in and save him and run out, and that whole thing happened.
Yeah,
that turned what would be a pretty normal fight into a more, I don't know, desperate situation, I guess.
Yeah, and this was a situation where we had the house rule where if somebody's not here, their player disappears, and we just don't have anybody puppet them. But I could not really come up with a way we could do that, which so far in this campaign we haven't had to do that much at all. I think we've been able to just have that person disappear, but this was a very unique situation where like we'd already triggered the enemies, so I can't really in good conscience like take somebody out or something. I guess the only other time would be comparable would be when we had the big huge multi-session long fight at Tentrix's lair, where I think we did have Mac, but Mac was like kind of up in a different area, and then we just kind of had him like off screen fighting other people, but that was a convenient way of doing that. But here I couldn't quite do that because literally you and Toro were so next to each other and were so entwined that I just couldn't do it. So instead we gave Mac's control to Reese, And then we were able to. Reese was able to first of all make the save, which was a big clutch
Yeah.
move.
It was, yeah.
So he was out for turn, but no longer in that. And then we had Mac rejoin the fight. Also, for balance reasons, I was actually terrified to not have Mac
Right
here because, like I said, I'd already had all the enemies here. Toro was really damaged. Like,
and as you said, Toro making the save was a clutch thing.
Right.
Because Toro could have not made the save.
Right. My
And then it
fear
would
was
have
like,
been-
okay, if I just have Mac disappear and Toro's just laying there like paralyzed and frozen the whole time, then we are in deep
We're
shit for
kinda
this
fucked.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was an executive decision to keep Mac in the battlefield. And that's why when Ray came on, his dude was at like half health because we needed it. Like he basically had you spring forward and just attack the group and basically drew aggro from half of them, while Gottwald was able to draw aggro from the other half. And that
Did they meet up from below or something? Is that what happened? You said that it was connected, so did Gottwald's team come from the other side?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
you kind of
yeah.
never
We
saw
came
that.
from
Yeah,
behind,
so
yeah.
there was a whole nother hallway just right beneath it going parallel to the fissure
Mhm.
hallway. And then so Gottwald and Sabra and Borges were already down there at basically the back end of that hallway. So it was a kind of a unique dynamic. At one point, Gottwald swam up and then was still surrounded by enemies. And if you hadn't have come up from back to draw some aggro, he would have been completely surrounded by dudes.
Mm.
And then I had Shava come out for the first time, which I rolled her initiative during a crafting stream, and she rolled a 19. So she was, with her modifier, she was the first to go. That's why she pops out at the start of the... So in other words, I didn't meant for her to scripted to come out at the start of the fight. I literally rolled her initiative, and that would have been when she popped out of the doorway to add to the
It
fight.
just happened to be when she rolled.
But she happened to be at the beginning, yeah. So then she was blasting with her spells in there, and I keep forgetting to use her fucking counter spell every time Savra was blasting off stuff.
Right, yeah.
It's like I don't usually
That's
have
hard
it.
stuff that's hard stuff to remember is stuff that's not on their turn. Like
It is, yeah.
reactions and-
That's why I don't usually like legendary actions too much and keep it to layer actions or something.
Yeah.
Or I'll force myself to just be like, all right, it's a legendary action, but it always happens at this initiative, so I have it on there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was sweating bullets a little bit about the fight just because of the unique situation, but honestly, even with me hitting a lot, you guys still did pretty well. Mac thankfully
did
still had
hit
a
a
lot of
lot.
hit points to churn through. Yeah, you got pretty low.
Yeah.
You guys were going through some hit points. Or some potions, I should say.
Potions, yeah. Potions, abilities. We were, yeah.
And my plan was always to have Shava fight and then disappear when the fight went bad. Which she did. And that gives you guys a chance. So what I didn't want to do here was create a Tentric situation, which was, we're going to be in combat for the entirety of this dungeon.
Right,
Even though it is a technically aggro hostile dungeon to you. They're not just sitting in their rooms twiddling their thumbs. So that's why you guys got a second to okay, here's some rooms and which is why I was a little bit more aggressive with Borges being like, hey, we need to find a place to short rest. Because I'm in the back of my head going, I'm going to fucking attack you guys ASAP. Momentarily. So you guys need to get a short rest real fucking quick.
Mm-hmm.
Which got Toro back up to speed and got all your various short rest stuff back online. Before coming down, which the other nice thing about having this brain scan thing is that I can kind of predict where you guys are going to go in a dungeon.
Yeah, exactly. Like we could have gone northeast, right? But I don't know what was up there, but we could have just, But you kind of know where the general objective
and
was.
especially because you guys are so weakened, and I think you're getting the idea. We're like, all right, well, if we do the main quest, the DM will give us a long rest at some point.
Exactly, yeah. And you even teased it at one point, like long resting underwater is probably not going to be a feasible thing. Which obviously, because we have potions of water breathing coursing through our blood.
Right,
so,
right.
So we're not going to fall asleep down here.
Yeah, it could be a little tricky. So that's my only teasing advice I'll say is that follow the main quest and good things will happen. Which this has been a tricky one because it's all I always want to stress it's lower elevation. Like as if you were on an open world video game and you can see this is a different thing than we're at, so you're always looking out for those stairs going down.
Right, yeah.
And you guys were able to figure out okay, this is where we need to go.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really get through too many areas. We just kind of fought two pretty big fights. Well, not really. I mean, I guess two medium fights.
Right. Yeah.
The first one being a little more dangerous
Like I
because
said,
of the situation you were
I
in.
felt like the first one was a medium fight, but it felt like a big fight to us
Yeah.
initially.
Because of the fact you guys were so separated, and
In
one
fact,
of you
almost
ended
the
up
point
getting
where
so aggro.
I almost drank a potion of speed at one point, and I'm glad I didn't, because I'm like, I thought the fight was way more dire than it was when we first started the session.
Yeah.
But once I saw all the enemies and we started fighting, I'm like, oh, okay, this is actually kind of just a standard, like, you know, patrol. I mean, not standard patrol, but, you know, not a boss fight, not an end of level fight.
Right.
But it just felt that way because of the situation that started it.
Yeah, so you guys, which I love that you fought, this is a classic concept of the Sahuagin Baron used to be a complete separate boss fight for you guys, like many levels ago, and now it's just like the leader of this minion force, basically.
Right.
You know, straight up 75 hit points, triple attack, like pretty strong.
Wow, yeah.
The Marrow I don't think you fought before, but I really like their stat block. They've got multi-attack, but they don't have like a whole lot of AC or hit points. But as you can see, they do a lot of damage. They can do the pull thing. Like, they're very offensively focused, which I always like as a creature.
Yep. I've used Marrows before. I like them a lot. Yeah.
You know, it's weird. I don't think we've hardly used them at all this campaign, even though it's been a fucking underwater nautical campaign.
That is interesting.
Yeah. I guess there's just a lot of other... We fought a lot of Sahuagin and Sahuagin variants, but...
Right.
I think there might have been one Marrow we fought. It's like a higher level creature. But yeah, this is a chance to see them as like straight up minions. And then the Sahuagin War Priestess is... I updated the Priestess stat block and kind of combined it with a War Priest stat block. So she got upgraded stats and better spells.
Okay. I did like those enemies a lot.
Like a CR2 priest just isn't going to be strong enough.
I realized at some point that like we very rarely fight the spellcasters.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a rarity for us to go against like full on spellcasters who are doing like, you know, spiritual weapons and counter spells. And
I try to mix up a little bit, not just do direct damage every time. Be like, all right, let's try to heal everybody or cast some buffs or cast some kind of crowd control ability or something.
Right, blesses or whatever. Yeah.
And they do, so it's straight up like I said, I was inspired by the War Priest stat block, which is from something I forget. So she's got extra spells from that, and then I think about double the hit points of the other priest.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the Sahuagin Priest was like a CR2, which used to be, again, a pretty big threat for you guys way back in the day, but now it's nothing. And even then it felt too weak for like a spellcaster in the back. Like, oh, you're going to kill this thing in like one round to get to her. So
as soon as you get back to them, they're done.
Yeah, so she got an upgrade. And then the Sahuagin Raiders, you fought those before. Those are the same net guys, the poison ability.
Yeah.
Yep, and then Shava is as you saw in the stat block, a Deathlock Mastermind, which is kind of a...
I don't know what that is. That doesn't mean... it's a creature,
It is,
right?
Yeah.
A Deathlock?
A Deathlock, yeah. They're like a undead warlock, I guess.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, like an actual combination of the words.
Right, yeah.
Okay. I was in my head. I was trying to get Deathlock, the DC character, out of my head, like the dude with the zombie with the red eye. There's a DC character called Deathlock.
There's a Marvel character.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking the Marvel. Is it a Marvel character?
Yeah, the Marvel character is Death. Well, there might be a DC one also, but the Marvel character is the half the cyborg.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking of. Okay. Yeah, Marvel character then. Yeah.
Who's sometimes a villain, sometimes an anti-hero.
Yeah, I mean, I literally have never read a comic with him.
I'm actually reading a comic right now where it's Cable is allied with Deathlock.
Okay. I just have like cards of him.
Yeah,
like old trading cards and whatever. Yeah.
This is not the same as that.
Okay. Yeah. I assume.
It's actually a fun stat block though. She's got a lot of good spells, and then her basic attack is that fucking giant grave bolt thing you saw, which does the pretty damage. Yeah, good damage, and has a chance to restrain you. So
yeah,
pretty cool. But I thought I like the idea of a hit and run villain, basically somebody who's, especially for a spellcaster, just a pain in the ass. Who's going to always be in the back and just kind of launch spells, and as soon as you guys get up there, it's just going to try to escape away and then keep taunting
Exactly. You. Yeah.
Two can play this war of attrition.
That's right.
So yeah, you guys got to the first brain took you a while to get to. The second brain you got to like in the very next session. They were just really close together. And then this third one has taken a little bit longer to get to. I think this is 2 sessions now since you left the second brain.
Yeah.
But you are closing in at this point. I think you were like
Getting to it.
Yeah, pretty close.
How many are there? 4?
4, yeah. And I have finally a good plan of, I think, how it's going to play out from here. It's been formulating for a while. But we're definitely, I mean, we've been kind of in the end game for a while. We've been in the end game for a while, but it's also, as you've seen, a gigantic area.
Yeah.
This is the 6th session we've been in this mega dungeon. And we're not even to the 3rd brain yet, so that'll give you an idea. Also, you guys have been level 11 for a long fucking time.
That's true. Yeah.
9, 10 sessions, I think, or something like that, which is weirdly the longest we've been a level of the entire campaign. But it's just been an awkward time because the last time you guys long rested, I wasn't quite ready to level you up. And as Borges told you, like, there's not a good chance to long rest quite yet.
Yeah.
But hopefully we will get there.
Nice.
Level up. Anything else about session 6-0? I got some loot, treasure loot, and I teased another spellcaster.
Oh yes, another character. Yeah,
Another character. Yeah.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I'm curious about that because it sounded like maybe another Illithid.
Maybe.
Illithid? Is it Illithid or Illithid?
I have heard both. I always thought it was Illithid.
Yeah.
And then Baldur's Gate pronounced it Illithid.
Illithid. Yeah.
But maybe it's one of those things where it's root and route. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever sounds
Anyway.
cooler. I like the fact that some you know what, as a DM, some of my in-universe characters may pronounce it differently.
Exactly.
Just
sure.
like people will pronounce different words differently.
In this universe, people pronounce it both ways.
Yes, yes. All right, I think that will do it for this week's Chat from the Deep. Thank you to Raymond. Thank you to Chris. And thank you to all the fans for watching, and we will see you next week.
See you then.